So you're, mixed, white, black.
Oh, yeah.
How was that growing up? Like, how did you feel like you don't have that compromise, or not compromise? What's the word I'm looking for? You have problems basically like, who am I? Like, am I okay to act this way? Am I okay to say this? Am I okay to like?
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
like I said before, growing up was painful because I didn't have my black role model because I didn't know my father. So, I was looking to Will Smith and looking to, these Denzel, these
Denzel's a
black.
man, though.
Oh yeah, but look into these black actors that that I idolized as as my black father figure and role model in my life. So, yeah, and then being in a white family and being, one of very few black faces that I see. My little brother and my sister were the only other people of color at the dinner table.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that casts a different light on my mom. And it's just like it's a different experience growing up black in a white household. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So especially like trying to get some of that culture and get some of those roots and just like trying to see them not through a white lens because a white lens is all I know. You see what I'm saying?
Interesting.
But like, yeah. So it was hard,
Yeah.
but again, it created such a colorful being, you know what I'm saying? Because I fully immersed myself in black culture, living in the hood, living in Toronto. I spent a lot of time in Bleecker. So I grew up around the Mandem and,
So with that, you said your grandfather was like pretty racist, right? Is there stuff that you experienced with him that you're like, okay, I don't want to really fuck with this guy? Because you said you got his humor from you. It's weird because it's like I'm part of this guy, but he's like, what I mean? Yeah, okay.
I forgave my grandpa for that.
Yeah,
because I understand alcohol and what it does.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, him being racist towards me when he was drunk, and then moping around the kitchen in the morning to make breakfast as his,
shame. It was shame,
shamed apology. The rest of my family outcasted my grandpa. They didn't want to have anything to do with him. But I saw past the racist bullshit and knew that deep down he didn't want to be addicted to alcohol, but he was fucking 60 years old, and that's all he knew.
Yeah.
So he wasn't capable of change. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't feel anger and fury towards those who are incapable of change. You need to feel an understanding and a sense of sorrow for them. I felt sorry for him, and I also loved him to the point that I didn't like what his racist rants, and I didn't, put myself there to fucking be a punching bag for it. I removed myself from the situation. But when the apology came, it was something that was like, I get it, but it's also not fair. I didn't let him. He knew that though, So yeah. And that's also that's just the way love is, Sometimes you let the people that you love be
You gotta forgive.
wrong.
You gotta forgive, bro. Yeah,
you have to forgive.
And then what about your dad? Because you said your dad wasn't around. Did you guys did you reconnect? Similar with my dad, like younger, but did you guys reconnect later, or how's that relationship now?
No,
has it changed?
I saw him last night, which was really overwhelming.
Yeah,
to be honest with you. But I never knew him growing up. I had met him briefly when I was like 12 or 13.
You'd never seen him before that?
No.
Wow.
And,
but he was in the city. Like he was in Ontario.
Never seen him before that. Seen him when I was about 12 or 13. And he gave excuses as to why he couldn't see me for that day, or gave excuses, and then just basically said, I didn't want you. And that was when I was like in my infancy of like teenage years. So that I naturally got really upset and became, I don't want to say aggressive, but I became angry and upset. And that's why I was, hanging out with the wrong people. And, it led me down a path of self-destruction because I felt unwanted. Also, compounding with being in group homes and foster care. And, but those were issues that my mom just wasn't equipped to raise 3 biracial kids on her own at the time, So there was a lot of, like I said, compounding factors that led me to being on the street, selling dope and being angry,
Yeah.
But I'm just glad I chose my intelligence after,
I'm so glad. You got something to say?
Yeah, it's just because, like, man, I just relate to this guy so much. Our stories are so similar.
Yeah.
And like, I can hear like still like pain and like hurt there.
Of course, there's pain. There's got to be pain because it's that pain that also made me intelligent.
Of course,
it's that pain that also makes me be able to look at the situation from many different angles and understand why I am who I am. Yeah. This is one thing that a lot of people don't do. They don't take the time to sit down and really look at themselves.
Self-reflect.
Who are you? And why do you have
these beliefs,
these traumas and these beliefs, these things that make you tick? I have a big problem with being feeling like I'm not good enough, feeling like, and in a relationship I'm talking about with a woman, I need reassurance a lot because I felt unloved and unwanted as a kid. So the inner kid in me needs that reassurance. You look good today, baby. I want you to know that I love you. I need those,
I posted that 2 days ago. This Cat Williams quote, and he's like, they asked him what's one of the best things that the best compliment, and he's like, "You're good enough." And I was like, you remember I reposted that?
Yeah. If a girl said that to me, I might break down,
bro.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that's like men in general.
But like
men in general, we never hear.
I never heard
we're
that.
We're doing a good job. We're good enough. We don't hear that.
That mattered to me so much. Going back to like, again, just hearing you is like, I remember 3 years ago, I had this conversation with my dad. And I was like, I said to him, I don't understand. Like, why didn't you just like come around? And he was like, well, I would try and call your mom and, but she wouldn't like just, and I was like, when I was younger, I probably could have felt that, but like, I know you as a person now, and you're like a stubborn person. When you want something, you go for it. So that's not like a valid excuse for me. I'm not really hearing that. And like, I broke down, and you never.
This was your father?
Yeah, this is like not even like a couple of years ago. This was, I think, like during one of the splits in COVID, and up until then, like if anybody asked me, I'd be like, yo, I'm okay. Like, me and my father were not great. We're not bad. Like I have a relationship with him now, but like, I'm okay. Like blah, blah, blah. And then it's only when I'm having certain conversations, I'm realizing like what I really feel down like deep, but I have to have that conversation to start talking about it first. And then I'm like, oh shit. So now even just hearing you, I'm just like, I understand. I get it. Like there's so much you're probably not saying that I still understand.
You get it on a very deep level. Emotional level.
Yeah.
And like I was saying, that's a lot of soul searching and intellectual work that people don't do on themselves. What are your traumas and what are the things that, are deal breakers in relationships for you? For me, I need that reassurance. I need it because I never got it as a kid. So it's been something that I've always felt like I'm not good enough. And it's so crazy because I'm fucking great. But there are moments of weakness that I'm only human, and a lot of us are, where I just need to hear it, you know?
You know what's crazy too is like, I'm willing to bet, I also read this too, I'm willing to bet that feeling of not thinking or feeling that you're good enough is what like drove you to a lot of success.
Probably, yeah.
Right?
And inadvertently, subconsciously, for sure.
And it's hard to let it go because you're like, well, I feel like if I don't, again, that when you identify with that, you're like, if I don't have this, how do I drive myself? How do I will myself to be good if I think that I'm good already? I don't know. That was just a side thought.
Yeah,
I've gone through that, and I'm still kind of like feeling that. So just wanted to pose it by you.
I think what you guys are talking about is super important, especially in the Black community, because like as you guys are like success stories, and you guys have come out of like not having a father, but wanting that father figure when you were there, there's still so many men and boys who are still struggling because they didn't have that father figure in their life. And this is a big part of like what I do, because I truly, genuinely feel when I break everything down, that when it comes down to is like, we're the most impactful on the world when we're good parents and we raise children who are loved. Right? That's what the world really needs. And how do you break that down even further? Well, we need to teach men and women how to learn to communicate again, one, and stop all this nonsense that's going on with the cheating and blah, 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 and yada, yada, yada. Let's get back to family and creating family, right? And creating loved children, right?
They're trying to destroy the nuclear family, and it's terrible because it's one of the only, again, the core values of life, of literally life.
Can I tell you why though? Can I tell you why I feel they're trying to destroy the nuclear family?
Absolutely.
Because you can't with a dad. A man who loves his child will do anything. I have 3 children. I will do anything, bro. It wasn't until I had children that I started seeing the world for what it was. And I will go against any government, anybody, bro. And that's dangerous.
But
bro.
you're a man.
Yeah.
And this is, again, why they're systematically trying to dismantle what a man is by bigging up women to become men.
Yeah.
And like, the world is an evil place, bro. It's fucked out there.
Yeah.